Hi, and welcome to the River Run Women in Business podcast, where every episode we interview inspirational women along their journeys. Be sure to subscribe for this podcast anywhere you listen. My name is Jen Eastman, and I am so excited to introduce Erika Hemingway with North Shore Magazine. Her story is truly inspirational, where she's come from and where she's gone in her career as a mom and everything in between. I can't wait for you to listen. Let's go. Erika, thank you so much for being here. So excited to have you, Erika Hemingway from North Shore Magazine. I want to talk to you a little bit about your journey. You are a strong, powerful businesswoman.
Keep going.
Working at North Shore, which we love. I want to hear a little bit about your journey, though, because it always hasn't been easy, right? So what was your original plan? How did you get to where you are today?
Thank you for having me. I love being here. This feels like home, and it feels like I'm already talking to a best friend, which I love, and I appreciate the intro. Yes, I am at North Shore Magazine, and I've been here now full time for a few years, 2 years, but I've been part of the North Shore Magazine family for almost 10.
Wow.
And this started back for me. I had gone to University of New Hampshire. I was studying recreation management. I had my bachelor's of science, and basically
that applies to a magazine, right?
Yeah. No, but yes, ultimately I thought I was going to run a ski area, or at the time my boyfriend was playing ice hockey for UNH, which was a big deal. Yeah. And he was drafted by the Colorado Avalanche for an NHL team. And he went off to travel, and I was still at UNH, and I thought, okay, I'm going to follow him, and I'm going to come work for one of these amazing teams. And when you're, 20 years old, your dreams are very big and your eyes are even wider. And I followed him all over the US and overseas, and it was an amazing experience. But doing so, 1 year we were traded, 10 times. And you have to pick up and move. Jeez. And move from Anchorage, Alaska to Arizona. That's a totally different wardrobe. Yeah. For my concerns. But you can't.
I'm sure you did it well.
Yeah, of course. But you can't just get a job everywhere. And however, that allowed me to find work in media, and through the hockey team and through working with some of their partners, sponsors, I started working for a local radio station. And it turned out at the time it was Clear Channel, which was ultimately became iHeart.
Yep.
And I started my career in radio back in Anchorage and then in Wichita, Kansas, believe it or not.
Wow.
And got all of my training in this very small town, got to see what it was like from, these big stations for them, but not comparatively to the world. And when we were done playing hockey, we came back to the Northeast, and I grew up here in the North Shore, and growing up listening to Kiss 108 and JM 94.5, coming back to being able to transfer to work for these radio stations was incredible. And it was amazing because the relationships that I had, they were easily transferable.
Sure.
And some of the clients like McDonald's we worked on nationally down in Wichita, we were able to do that here in New England.
Wow.
And my boss at iHeart at the time was a UNH grad, and the president of sales was also a UNH grad. So seeing them, they're like, oh, let's bring the UNH girl in.
All about connections.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I had worked with an amazing team at iHeart at KISS. And now this is sort of my time to shine. My ex had, which we have to get into, then
we'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah. Ex, but I was able to then start my career in radio sales to start. And we bought a house in North Andover, and I had this amazing job, amazing people. We had our baby. Now, at the time, I felt like on top of the world. I was making the most money I'd ever made. I was working with these amazing clients, from McDonald's to Dunkin' Donuts to all the top stores in Boston, and working with these amazing radio personalities like Billy and Maddie and Lisa from the morning show, and going to all the cool parties. But at the time, my husband was now coming off this amazing career of a hockey player, and now trying to find his way in the corporate world. And it was really hard for him.
Yeah.
And he was struggling a lot. And I think that a lot of these athletes come off of this high of working in like this show business. Ultimately, they get to go on the ice and be clapped for and have people shower them with gifts and money and attention. And then coming back to have to work a desk job was not ideal.
While you're doing all of these things,
Yes,
you're out there.
And now I'm doing the show business side of things and also running the house and having a toddler. And so unfortunately for us, we couldn't make it work at that time. And all while doing this, I'm still trying to grow my career. And this is where North Shore Magazine comes in, because during radio sales, you have to go out and prospect new businesses and knock on doors and say, do you want to buy ads? And I'm going through the North Shore Magazine itself and saying, oh, if they can afford a magazine ad, they should probably be able to afford a radio ad. So I walk down to the whatever business that is in the magazine and say, hi, I'm with Kiss 108, but I see your ad here. Do you want to be on the air? And this is the reason why. Then I started going to all these amazing North Shore Magazine events. And I start giving out my cards, meeting people. And the owner of the magazine saw me come to all these events, and he's thinking, okay, you've been at this one, this one, this one. Who are you and why are you here? And why are you handing out business cards trying to take my people? And I actually had a dear friend who was helping doing video producing for the magazine at the time. And he pulled me aside because I was actually with a former radio host, Kendra.
Yep.
And she and I were on camera saying, we love North Shore Magazine events. This is so great. You should come to them. And he looked at me and said, can you do that again at one of the events? So he hired me internally for the magazine. So you can come to all the events, but you have to work for us. You cannot poach our clients. So this is how this started. And this continued. I worked for the magazine. I started doing all of their events. I learned how to hone my craft on being on air, being in front of the camera, talking to people. And a local radio station called North Shore 1049. It was out of Beverly. It was 1049 FM on the dial. Needed a younger female presence that could be on a morning show and then also sell advertising. So the owner of the station, his name was Todd Tanger, he's out of Marblehead. He was like, we want to hire you and create this position for you. Now, all of this is so exciting for me. I'm like, I can now take my sales job and my on-air job and blend them together, be closer to home. This is going to be in Beverly versus driving to Medford. I'm thinking this is great, but
living the dream.
I'm like, I'm going to make it here. Yeah. This is what I want to do. But meanwhile, everything at home is falling apart for me. So I'm like, I can't pay my mortgage this month. I have this toddler. I have a nanny. I have a husband so I had to make a decision. This was in 2018, pretty pivotal, that I had to like rip off the Band-Aid and be like, I'm selling the house. I'm moving back home with my parents. My husband came too. I'm bringing the baby. I had to unfortunately let go of my nanny, and we were going to send my son to daycare to save money and rely on all these other things. And I was like, I'll figure it out. I want to take this job. And I didn't want to leave KISS. It was amazing. All the people were great. But at the time, it was getting really corporate and less local. Mm-hmm. And being able to work for a local radio station felt like where I should be. And made the move, sold the house. Ultimately, my husband and I split up. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without the support of my family, without the support of my jobs. Mm-hmm. And North Shore Magazine still is part of this journey. Sure. Along the way, because now I'm working for North Shore Radio, North Shore Magazine. I could bring in to interview on the air and say, hey, Rick, what do you guys have going on this week? And how can we work together? So now we're still keeping this relationship. He's also now seen me have a baby, go through all the like a separation, sell my house, and still be supportive, which was incredible. So now I'm waking up every morning at 4 a.m., driving to Beverly, doing my morning show. I am this hot mess mom character, true to form, as I'm pulling in on two wheels in the minivan, opening up the car door, the makeup spilling out, the laptop spilling out.
And we all go through this, right? Yes. As women in business, we all go through these moments of total chaos and trying to keep it together.
Totally.
And you're living it.
Yep. And my co-host at the time, his name was Donnie White. He was the complete opposite of me. He had grandchildren from multiple places and like Everett, Medford guy, very thick Boston accent, was in the liquor industry. So he would come in and be like, Erika, what are we doing? Well, tell me what's good on the North Shore today. And I have to, put my pants on and put my makeup on and pretend that I wasn't going to cry on the inside and be like, this is what we need to do. But that being said, all of the listeners, all the clients, because they were so local, were like, come to our apple orchard, come to this parade, come to whatever it was. And they'd call in and want to talk to us, want to win. And seeing the phones light up for you that they're listening, I mean, that would just make your day.
And especially, like you said, you're holding back the tears. You're trying not to cry. But what I know about you is you're such a genuine person. And so I think so many of us, we try to kind of keep it all together and look like we're pulled together. But you've been able to share your story and that you've gone through these valleys and these high points and these low points.
Totally.
And that's okay. Yeah. Right. And then to get to the place that you are now, which I think is so incredible.
100%. And this is what I've learned, just like you said, is that if you don't share your story, you won't learn from it, because someone else, you'll say one thing and they'll say, oh, I use that same doctor, I use that same lawyer, I use that same caregiver, whatever it might be. And then you can share that bond. Not only is I've also shared trauma, number one, or number two, this is how it helped me. You should talk to this person. Or it could be anything. You could be like, oh, I have a guy, a mechanic that can help you with that thing. Like, it's just always helpful to share, because otherwise you're just holding it all in by yourself, and you can't help anyone else by your trauma, and you can't help yourself either. Right. I've also learned that you can't judge anybody either by what they're going through and how they're managing it and how they're doing it, because my timeline, it was longer than I think other people would have said, like, why didn't you do this sooner? Why haven't you done that faster? But it has to be my journey and my story. And same, I have other friends that are going through it. I have to let them go through it on their own. I can offer advice, but whether it's like get out of the job, get out of the relationship, sell the house, whatever it is, you can't put that pressure on somebody else.
So you've talked about how you had to make all these major life-changing decisions all at once. You decided to get divorced. Yep. You decided to move back, right, and be with family. You've decided to do all of these things that have put you on a different trajectory, but maybe one that you didn't foresee happening.
Totally.
You had a goal and a plan in these dreams, and then had to make some really hard decisions. So how did you come to terms with making those decisions? And I imagine it was so overwhelming, but how did you move through that?
Well, I think as women and as mothers, you go into this like Hulk mode where you don't have a choice. You have to keep showing up for your children and for yourself, and you just lock in and you get it done. The problem is then once I felt like I was finally like, I'm on top of my game again, it now took 2 or 3 years. We started the Erika and Donnie in the morning. My face was on 7 billboards in the Merrimack Valley and North Shore. Global pandemic. Hit back down the bottom of the mountain again. And I'm thinking, is this just going to ever stop?
And how does that affect your world, right? So a global pandemic hits every industry in every kind of way. You probably wouldn't even think about radio or sales or advertising.
All the money stopped. Everyone froze their ad spend. No one was driving in their car.
And you are not only in this career position, your face is all of these billboards, but you have a family to think about and all these life choices that you made.
Oh, yeah. And so now,
how are you doing it?
Well, so now we're like, okay, we have to figure out how to broadcast, and what are we going to talk about, and how are they going to listen? I mean, thankfully, like with the technology, we were able to do it through Zoom, call in people to talk on the air with us. Sure. We got very close with Senator Bruce Tarr. He gave us a state of the state every morning on his position from the State House. We got very close with one of our nurse clients. She would call in and give us a state of what the CDC would be saying. And we had some advertisers that stuck with us, and those advertisers I will never forget. And they're so amazing because they helped us, help pay for our like we had,
and you're able to pivot and see what you needed to do in order to make it happen, not only professionally, but personally.
Totally.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we ended up, the radio station sold to a Christian conglomerate station, which was fine. But because of this relationships now that I have with the state, I was able to go work for the State House, which was great. And I did, PR and communications. And at the meantime, to bring back North Shore Magazine again, they were now not doing events. So now they didn't really need me. Still kept the relationship, but I was less involved. Being part of the state was amazing, but they didn't, same thing. It wasn't enough work for me there. But what I did learn was about government grants and funding. And there was an opportunity to go work for the Museum of Science on their national philanthropy team. So taking my sales background now with my government funding, learning, education that I was getting, went to work for the Museum of Science in Boston, which I absolutely love. The museum is amazing. I think that their mission is great. All the people that work there are incredible. But commuting to Boston, now I'm back in the office, going every day. I'm like, what am I doing? I end up rerunning into the owner of the magazine up on Plum Island, and he said that we moved the office to Newburyport, downtown, right on one of the main streets, and said, do you want to come work for me full time? Didn't even hesitate. I was like, absolutely, this is amazing. So now I was able to come back to the magazine full time in sales, but also continue this events personality that I am, doing all of their social media videos with a great team behind me. And we are creating something so great back again with local people, local businesses, mom and pops, and all of these clients were mine from either KISS or 1049, or supported us at the state level, or supported me when I was at the museum. It's like they're all family, and they're all from the North Shore.
What advice would you give when you're talking about all these different moves that you made, right? So we talked about pivot, we talked about making those choices. So along this path, you're not walking the straight path, right? You're constantly zigzagging.
Totally.
And it seems to keep coming back to the same place, which is so wonderful.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to people, especially women, who are navigating their career and making those choices to kind of move around, right? Like, you're changing up your trajectory, and you don't always know where it's going to lead.
No, totally. It's not straight. It's not up. It is a complete roller coaster.
Which is okay, I think.
Yeah,
right.
You can't. The number one thing is you cannot burn bridges, no matter how hard that can be at times, because we do get emotional. We are hormonal. We are going through different phases of life, but I think you try to have to take a step back and see it from everyone's perspective and keep those relationships. And that is very hard to keep up with, because it's like you have to keep in contact with all these people, whether it's email or going to the events, and you have to show up. And that's the one thing that I pride myself in, and I'm very proud of, is that if I have a client that has an event, like, I can't get to everything. I know that, but I will try. And I wouldn't be able to do this also without the support of my family. Is so incredible, and the support of my team that I have at all of the jobs that I've worked at, but creating that bond too with them, and be like, if you can show up for them, and then they can show up for you, and keep that. And if they can't, they can't, but don't hold on to it. You just have to do it for yourself. You
have a gorgeous little boy.
Thank you.
I love so much.
I do.
We were talking about him a little bit earlier, and one of the things that you mentioned to me was that you try to teach him about responsibility and showing out for people.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a wonderful lesson, and it kind of ties into what you were just saying about
exactly.
showing up.
Yeah. My son is 10, and he has gone through, the same struggles as we have, had to sell our house and had to move in with grandma and grandpa. And there's days where he doesn't want to go to school. And this is what I was telling you. And he has a learning disability too. And so that is also a struggle. So I know that getting up every day and having to sit there and listen to the teachers and focus on what he has to do is hard. But when he tells me he doesn't want to go, I say, I don't want to go either to work. But I told Jen that I was going to be here for her today. I can't let her down. And her whole day is around that. And maybe she doesn't want to go either, but she's going to show up for me. And I said, what if your friend at school has a bad day and you're not there for him? It doesn't matter about what's actually happening in the schoolwork, which he also needs to do. And, it's against the law not to go to school. But you need to be there for your friends, because they are relying on you. Whether they know that or not at this age, I'm trying to teach that to him now.
Yeah.
So it can be that important. I mean, he's in 5th grade, and I remember 5th grade, those friends that I had, they're still my best friends.
There you go.
Now. And they're amazing and they're part of my support system.
And we meet so many friends along the way, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
The careers that you're talking about, the different moves that you made, I'm sure kind of to your point, making those relationships, you've been able to carry those people with you throughout, which not only are, you know, your working relationships and those connections, but the people you can lean on when you need support.
Totally.
When you need resources. And I'm sure so much of that has come into play for you.
Well, that's also part of my business is referrals. I mean, half of my book of business, I think, is referral based because I say, okay, who did you use for this? And they give me someone. I say, great, I work with them. They're a client of mine. And then I want you to be a client of theirs. And now we've given someone a photographer, a DJ, a balloon person. They can go off and have their own event.
Yeah.
And then, yes, bring us along for the ride. We want to see it. The goal is to make everyone in the North Shore successful. You know, we want to be the top of the world here.
And at the bank, it's truly our pleasure to partner with you.
Thank you. Yeah,
we've done some really cool things together, and we're looking forward to doing more. I want to leave with like one more kind of tidbit, one more nugget for maybe women starting in their career or going through something difficult personally. You've overcome so much turmoil, and you've kind of gotten out on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So, any last like words of wisdom that you can share?
I think that everyone is struggling every day, but you have to show up for yourself. Like that is the number one thing. And then by doing that, you'll show up for everybody else. And then they'll see that and want to show up for themselves also. I mean, you don't want to go to the gym in the morning, but if you do, you're showing up and you're seeing the other people that also showed up for themselves, for you. Same with school. I mean, I might be late a few minutes, but we're making it work.
On 2 wheels, holding back your tears.
Yeah, exactly. But you're there, you know?
Yeah.
And you can do hard things. I was telling you this story earlier is that I remember feeling like I was on the top of the mountain with my princess crown on. I have the, wand in my hand, like I'm going to change the world. And then you think you get knocked down at the bottom. But meanwhile, you're knocked down all the time. And you don't actually think of those things. Like I was telling, like someone passes away that really affects you. My dad having cancer and having to feed him through a feeding tube. That was really hard, but that wasn't even cataloged in my brain as like,
sure,
I didn't get to the top. And then you go back and you look at all the hard things that you've done and you're like, oh, well, I can do anything now.
Absolutely.
So the
I
days
love that.
you wake up and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go do adult today. But be like, but look at all I've already done. So yes, I can put on the shoes and drive to school and not in my bathrobe. I can put on like
I love that.
So yes, I think just remind yourself that you can do those hard things despite how hard they may seem in that moment.
You have shared like so much inspiration. I'm going to walk away today thinking about all the things that I've accomplished and how they got me here. And kind of a gentle reminder, right? That we can do anything that we set our minds to because we've overcome so many other things.
Exactly.
That you said maybe we haven't cataloged. So
that's the point. I mean, I have to remind myself too to give myself grace. Like I think I'm my own worst critic.
We all do. That's women, right?
Yes. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
But then you're like, wait, I'm so proud. Like what? And then I'm looking now back at my son this morning alone. I got him to run outside before school. That wasn't easy, but I was proud of him. But I was also proud of myself for making the effort and not being afraid to be like, I know he's not going to like this, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's good for him and it's good for us together.
Your story of overcoming so many challenges and bringing your son into it is so incredible.
Thank you.
I really hope and I really think that our listeners are going to get a lot out of this.
I hope so.
How can people learn more about you or even learn more about North Shore Magazine and all the wonderful things you have coming up?
I mean, yes, of course, I want you to learn about me all the time.
We all find you on Instagram.
Yes, and find me. It's Erika Hemingway on Instagram or on LinkedIn. Erika with a K, Hemingway with one M. So this is my other little trick. I always like to say, it's Erika like Miss America, Hemingway like Ernest Hemingway.
Love it.
And try to people to remember that. But also North Shore Magazine online, northshoremag.com, North Shore Mag on Instagram, because this year we're going to have so many events, one a month, whether it's for the magazine itself or for our home publication. We're going to have a golf tournament. We do Bonds, Best of North Shore. It is the biggest party of the century, of the year. I mean, it's the place to be. And the best
we'll be there.
You better be. You better be there. Yes. But all of our events are just so fun. And it's like I feel like we do like a wedding with all of our people here on the North Shore. It's like, I get to see everyone once a month because I get to see all my clients and all my friends. It's amazing. I don't even have to, send them an invite.
You'll be at all these events, right?
So people
want to check them out, kind of meet you, hear more about your story.
Yeah, please. Willing to share and willing to give advice and willing to refer people. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. I want to make connections.
Amazing.
So yes, please.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
We love hearing your story and can't wait to see everything else that you are going to accomplish.
What's going to be next is the question.
Here we go. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.